All right, everyone, welcome back into another Fantasy Golf video. We are going to be breaking down the Tour Championship, giving you guys the top picks and plays here for this event. Now, it will be a quicker video because it is only a 30-man field event, and really, it is a pretty straightforward week as well. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. So, yes, we have the Tour Championship, not that Tour Championship from Happy Gilmore. It's going to be the Tour Championship here at East Lake. And I'm actually curious as to your guys' thoughts here. Do you think that these tournaments should change courses more than they do? I tend to think so. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I would love to see more unique courses for the playoffs, different courses. I don't know. That's probably just me. I get kind of the history. You need to have that and whatnot. Great course, obviously. I don't like not dogging on the course, but for me, I think with the playoffs, it should be rotating courses to have the best PGA Tour player crowned at the end of the season. Now, my biggest complaint, I would say, with the Tour Championship is the dumb structure that it has for this week. I know a lot of people actually like it, maybe more for viewing purposes, but the previous version to me was a better version. So, like, what I don't like is that they kind of made it so the playoffs don't necessarily matter too much for the top guys, I would say. Like Scotty Scheffler won last weekend. It's kind of like, oh, well, like, oh, good job, Scotty. Like, you still might not be the best player on the PGA Tour this year. You could argue if Rory wins, he deserves it. Maybe even like, I would say JJ Spawn, you could also argue like, oh, if those two win, yeah, it makes sense that they'd be like the best players on the PGA Tour for that season, be kind of crowned that. Or Ben Griffin as well, two-time winner if he wins this, sure. But it's just, I don't know. It just loses steam to me. It's kind of like, it's not like another sport. It's not like the NBA. It's not like the NFL, obviously, where in those sports you do kind of get home court advantage and whatnot. Like the regular season does matter. Obviously, people would argue that the regular season matters for you to be able to make the Tour Championship and whatnot. Yeah, that's all great. But I think this is kind of the worst version of what can happen. They need to make the field smaller, I think, if they're going to do it this way. Or maybe even you cut players off of each round if you're going to do it this way. Okay, so 30 players make it, maybe only 20 make it after the first round. Okay, then you do 10 make it after the second round, 5, and that you could do it that way. Could do it based off of strokes as well. I always said the best way to do it, and people probably hate this take as well, maybe instead of like strokes difference, maybe for the first round, you could implement that same style, but just move a player up like a certain yardage on tee boxes. Now, I get that that's not also like the best solution there as well. And I would probably agree that the last round should somewhat be more of a straight up format. I would agree with that. If you don't want to give a player a specific advantage on the course, strokes or distance wise, I kind of get that. But what you could do instead then is you have a cut each round. And that can be based off of FedExCup points. And I think that's actually the best solution because that actually would drive viewership for each and every round because it'd make each and every round matter. Now, a player like Scotty, who literally just won an event, he would basically be automatically playing in the final round, and his strokes throughout the whole tournament at East Lake for the Tour Championship would still matter. It's not like you would exclude that. But let's say a player like Brian Campbell, like if he struggles or if he even plays average with the field, he's not going to survive to that next round in round 2. I think that's the best solution. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people actually in the 905 Discord chat are probably going to hate this take. A lot of people were celebrating that they were moving back to this version. I get it for viewing purposes, and honestly for PGA DFS purposes, I like it better as well. In fantasy golf purposes, I like it better that way as well, but it's kind of a lost cause. I get that as well. You can't do match play because match play is just like a deviation off of the whole freaking season, right? And there really isn't like a perfect way to do it. That's just how golf's set up. I get that. But let me know what any of those solutions, if you guys like any of those, let us know. But let's go ahead and get into this week. So guys, just looking at it, we are going to be looking at course history, which golfers have the best course history. You know, Justin Thomas has played this course really well, and I'm not adjusting it for strokes on the course at all because of the weird format. Like I'm not going to knock a player for Scotty for winning because he was granted points, if that makes sense. Like, you play to your lead in some situations as well. So could potentially average that out. I get that. And for those of you that maybe don't know, previous years they did have a stroke advantage based off of how they played throughout the season and throughout the playoffs. They're not having that this year again. I am not going to change their results because I do think that that plays mentally into some of the shots that golfers would choose to hit, whether they're playing more aggressively as well. Okay, so it could kind of hurt a player as well, or if they're having to play less aggressively because they are up a decent amount. So just as an FYI there. And just a reminder, top 30 players. So, when you see a 22nd place finish, not a good result there. So Scotty, though, first, sixth, second, you like that. JT, pretty good results. Rory typically plays this course extremely well there as well. Victor Hovland has had some success here as well. Kyle Morikawa has played this course well as well. In terms of, we got to be thinking Ryder Cup a little bit as well. Patrick Cantlay really needs to have a good week, guys. And he has had some success at this course, obviously. Last year, not that good, though. So, interesting stuff there as a whole, I would say. Hideki's going to be an interesting click, I will say, for this week as well. Looking at course history, let's go ahead and jump on into recent form. So I want to bring up what I thought was a fascinating tweet yesterday or last week, was something in regards to Harry Hall. So guys, apparently Harry Hall had like a quote pretty much saying that he has not been like sized up for a Ryder Cup jacket or anything like that. He doesn't think he's going to make the team, which to me is pretty darn crazy. As you guys have known, if you guys have been following the channel, Harry Hall has been in some of the best form throughout this whole season. He's been an easy click each and every week. Each year we have a sort of kind of player that's been undervalued throughout the whole year that we just end up rostering a bunch due to that. And Harry Hall has been that this year. Okay, previous years it's kind of been, well, Xander kind of last year, Andrew Putnam in previous years, Scott Piercy, Harris English, in all their years where they kind of had career years. That's the season that Harry Hall is having. So definitely interesting that he might be left off the Ryder Cup team. And I don't know why. Like, you have a golfer that's arguably top 5 in the world right now in terms of how he's playing, consistently playing. And I get the argument might be, well, once he had an upside finish, relatively speaking, who I would rather have a golfer that's going to give me he's going to be top 85% in terms of playing well at the Ryder Cup. I would rather have that than someone that might give me a really good round or a really good day and a really bad day, or a really good morning and bad afternoon. Just have the golfer that's going to consistently play well. That's golf, right? It's kind of crazy. And there's some discourse that people are saying that he shouldn't be on the team, which is kind of crazy to me. And I know this is a lot of Ryder Cup talk. It's kind of fun. Okay. I typically don't get up for the Ryder Cup because I feel like the picks are typically straightforward, but a lot of people are still trying to give us the Keegan narrative that he's going to make the team. He should not, as I've mentioned a bunch, just not set up for clutch situations. I would say now that could change if he wins. I will admit that. Maybe if he gives us a top 5, I could see, all right, Keegan, you can pick yourself in that regard, but that would mean Patrick Cantlay played poorly. And we're going to see, guys, Patrick Cantlay is not playing some good form. He's really not up there, but you would pick Patrick Cantlay basically so he can team up with Xander, and hopefully Xander is not playing terribly as well. I would actually argue, if we're going to go with, kind of a seasoned vet, I'd probably, at this point, and it might sound like a hot take, I'd probably go Ricky. And that might be a little bit off the board, but at least there's some team chemistry there if we're trying to chase a seasoned vet at that point. I think Ricky would be the choice. And kind of the last choice is Maverick McNeely as well. We can get into that in a different video, but interesting stuff there. I don't know. My gripe with the Ryder Cup, a lot of fluff in this video, apologies, but my gripe with the Ryder Cup and really both variations, President Cup, is it's 2 American teams going off against each other. It's a bunch of actual Americans that are American citizens, and in some cases, it's some golfers that have dual citizenship or spend most of their year living in America. And that's kind of my biggest gripe. It's all right, well, Tommy Fleetwood, great. You spent, obviously, I get it, PGA Tour's here, he has to be here, but great, buddy, you're been in America for how long of your life? John Rahm was the same situation as well. I don't know. It's just weird to me. And it's I don't like cheering against golfers that I like as well in that regard, that might be a hot take as well. I'm not sure. But hopefully enough with the fluff, guys. I didn't mean to get off on a tangent there as well, but let's jump back into it. Form-wise, if we look at this, guys, we could literally just probably make a lineup based off of the golfers that are in good form and call it a day. Outright-wise, I think we're going to end up just clicking on Scotty and calling it a day. We'll touch on that a little bit more here, but let's jump into the key stats. And so the top stat fits, guys, we are looking at birdie or better percentage still because it is an event in which you need to score at. Ball striking is typically a big factor here. 200 plus scoring, because it is more of a long track, does tend to play a little bit more as well. And then stroke gained approach, we're looking at that. Par 5 scoring as well. Golfers tend to need to score on the par fives. Looking at it though, a little bit shocking that Viktor Hovland is popping up in there as one of the better stat fits as well. But Sky Scheffler, Sepp Straka, Tommy Fleetwood, Rory, Harry Hall, JJ Spawn, just interesting as a whole there. But again, typically speaking, with it being a reduced field event and the Tour Championship, like these are supposed to be the best golfers in the world, and so that's not too shocking there as well. So for betting purposes, let's just take a peek at maybe what we're looking at. I do think I probably would just suggest going with Scotty. It does feel like it is kind of his event to lose. He's number one in recent form, stat fit, specialist, and course history. Third in the field still. And defending champ, obviously we like that. Had a runner-up finish here as well. The one player that we could potentially be on, though, is going to be Rory. I do think he is motivated to play well as well. Obviously had a very great season. Could argue a career year with how well he's played. 12th place finish last week was encouraging for me as well. Kind of mentioned that the worry with him would be kind of getting up for that event specifically, and the fact that he played good enough. Like 12th is not bad at all, and now we get him on a course where he does play extremely well. Recent form is 17th in the field, but again, we kind of got to grade that with the asterisk when it comes to Rory there, because, well, obviously coming in off of that Master Championship where he was able to complete that Grand Slam, we can kind of give him a pass for some lackluster events mixed in there. Top 20 at the U.S. Open, and then really just some pretty darn good events mixed in there as well. Had a bunch of time off prior to last week, and so the fact that he played well, I think we can get to him as well. And so if you want to do 2 outright bets, I would say 10-1 on FanDuel for Rory is also going to be interesting to me there as well. So from there, Albert has been someone that has finally been able to pay off his price tag recently, and also someone that we could actually kind of expect to pay off his price tags as well. So a little bit interesting there, but we could continue on this list, guys. I don't need this video to be that long. Tommy Fleetwood's fine. We are getting some soft pricing though. I will say Viktor Hovland is interesting given his course history. Pretty good stat fit as well. Could he be someone that wins? Maybe. I don't know if I necessarily need to get there as well. Russell Henley is someone like top 10 or better in all the key metrics that we look at. Love that there from him. But this is another week where it does feel a lot like last week, where DFS-wise, make it easy on ourselves. Let's just play Scotty, betting-wise as well. And so let's just take a quick peek, guys. So we plug in Scotty from there. We have 7.2 left over on average. Okay, that's great. Let's take a peek at some of the players that we can get to. And honestly, guys, it feels pretty simple this week, really. We'll give you guys the breakdown here in just a second. But Harris English playing great golf. Don't really understand the pricing, 6.9. Let's play him. Harry Hall also playing great golf. Again, 7K, don't really understand the pricing. Playing those two really does open it up for us to be able to get to some other plays that we may or may not like. Chris Goddard's game should set up better for this event as well. I will say we do tend to want to target golfers that do have some course experience. And so when we look at like Harry Hall, that's probably the biggest knock on him. No course history for him. And Harris English, one event where he does have course experience, top 20, which obviously not good there. I would assume that's their biggest knock. But we're getting a golfer, again, Harry Hall, top 10 or better in all the key metrics that we look at. His results have not been shocking, just great play. But he's second best in the field in recent form. And then you look at Harris English, 5th best in the field in recent form. So definitely intriguing there. And then we do have Chris Goddard, who has been a letdown over the last few weeks, but this is a course that sets up a little bit better for his game. So I don't hate him as a click as well if you need to dip down into that value tier. But let's just talk about some of the players that we could maybe potentially pay up for. Sepp Straka's round to me was encouraging, or tournament last week was encouraging. Not overly, but like if we want to chase that good stat fit and that somewhat-ish okay course history, like a top 10 finish mixed in there, we like that. We can do that. But to me, guys, the play that we're going to go with is going to be Hideki, who's a good stat fit. Top 5 in recent form, which a little bit shocking to me. 9 straight for him. All pretty darn good finishes mixed in there, so don't mind him. And then I do want to call it Robert McIntyre. He was a letdown 2 events ago. Had a good week last week, obviously finishing runner-up. Overall, top 10 in recent form, top 10 staff, and top 10 in terms of specialists. So like that there from him as well. And so if we're maybe looking at a lineup here, that's just, I mean, it's literally like just doing this, whatever. Those two, we can put them in. 7.3 left over. Keegan, Maverick, Panili, I'm kind of okay with those. If we want to go down to like Chris Goddard, maybe we can do that instead. Then we have 8.1 left over. Ben Griffin, obviously playing great golf. Really wouldn't mind him there as well. This is an interesting week, though, where I do think strategy-wise, maybe we could leave some salary left over on the table. I actually don't mind that idea. Even if you are playing Scotty, I think you could get away with that. The question is, do you want to play Scotty or not? Because if you don't play Scotty, you could still go English and Hall, and then you're going Rory, Fleetwood probably, maybe Hovland, and your lineup's not going to be terrible as well. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what the 9 to 5 lineup builder is telling us, and we'll begin out of here. Okay, so just using the 9 to 5 custom model 2.0, I'm actually going to move this out of beta pretty basically after the Tour Championship. I'm going to finalize some updates that I've been working on, including this, and it'll be moved out of beta. So you guys will be seeing those updates fantasy golf wise, probably in the next month or so as well. That leads me to call out, football has started, guys. In case you haven't caught it, preseason's been going on. Been covering a lot of preseason NFL DFS and preseason prop bets. If you guys are interested in that type of content, head on over to the 9 to 5 Sports YouTube channel. More of the, call it the main YouTube channel, but this one is also a main YouTube channel. But obviously this one just covers golf. That one covers several different sports there as well. So if you guys want that content, check that out. And obviously all those tools that I use for that are going to be available on the 9to5sports.com website, which if you guys would like access to that, the NFL tools or the fantasy golf tools, head on over to 9to5sports.com, get access to all those tools for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Guys, take advantage of that. It's the best deal out there in fantasy sports. Let's go ahead and jump back into the lineups that we can produce. So right away, the top lineup projection-wise is more of a fair and balanced lineup. Tommy Fleetwood, Victor Hovland, Sam Burns. I kind of feel like Sam Burns is now, as long as he doesn't play absolutely terrible in this event, I think he's kind of a lock to make the Ryder Cup team just because of him and Scotty. I think that kind of bodes well for him. Then you got Ben Griffin. Again, I'm fine with that. Seb Straka could staff it. And then Chris Goddard, it's going with. But we jump down a little bit lower. Then it's starting to get to maybe a little bit more of the lineups that I was seeing. So like Scotty, Ben Griffin, Seb Straka, Keegan, Harry Hall, and Shane Lowry. So interesting there as a whole. But that's going to do it, guys. Short, quick, and easy video here for you guys. Again, if you guys would like access to any of the tools that are available on 9to5sports.com, head on over there, get access to all the tools for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck, and as always, let's keep cashing.